Okay, good evening. It is March 12th, 2024, and time is 7:32. I'd like to call to order the March 12th meeting of the Norwalk Common Council. If you please rise and join me in pledging allegiance to our nation's flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God. Thank you. Dixon, if you'll please call the roll.
Mr. Burnett, Mr. Goldstein,
Here.
Mr. Lopez.
Here.
Ms. Najolski Eichner,
Here.
Ms. Smith,
Here.
Ms. Ayers,
Present.
Mr. Seed,
Present.
Mr. Wiggins, Ms. Young. Here. Ms. McMurr,
Present.
Ms. Murray,
Here.
Ms. Dunn,
Here.
Mr. Sutton,
Present.
Mr. Frere,
Here.
Ms. Shanahan.
Here.
Okay,
13, we have a quorum.
thank you. Next item on the agenda is acceptance of the minutes for the regular meeting, February 27th, 2024. Do I have a motion? Ms. McMurr, any corrections, deletions, or omissions? Seeing none, all in favor of the minutes of February 27th as submitted? All opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Next is the acceptance of the minutes of the special meeting of March 5th, 2024. Do I have a motion? Ms. Ayers, any corrections, deletions, or omissions? Ms. Smith?
Yes, thank you. On page 4, next to the last paragraph where it says Ms. Smith said it was a problem not having the budget book, it should pick up there with the council received the list of requested positions and I discovered the family navigators were not included.
Okay. Any other corrections or Ms. Murray?
Sure, on page 5, I'm getting up there. It says Ms. McMurr says something and it should say Miss Murray. Let me get there. On the third to last paragraph. So it says paragraph right preceding it says Miss Nadolski Eichner said, and then it says Miss McMurr said she was moved by Mr. Wiggins' comments about not getting their bang for their buck, and that was what I said that, so it should be Miss Murray.
Okay. Any further corrections, deletions, or omission? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes as corrected? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Next, we have public participation. We have one person in the audience. Are you looking to address the council? Okay. And then we have, are there anybody online, James?
If you would like to speak, please raise your hand electronically. We have one. Anne Marie, once muted, please state your name and your address, and please limit your comment to 5 to 3 minutes. Thank you.
I'm just a student, a DNP student, nursing student, participating. Thank you. I'm living in Norwalk, 20 Day Street, Unit 111, Norwalk, Connecticut.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear.
She's a student.
Okay.
So
Do you wish to make a comment on an item that's on the agenda?
Nah, I'm okay. I'm just following. Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for listening in.
Yes.
is there anyone else who would like to make a public comment?
Okay, seeing none, we will end public participation. Next on the agenda, we have resignations and appointments and reappointments. Appointments to the Board of Assessment Appeals as a regular member, Miss Jane Walters and Maria Formenek, the Board of Assessment Appeals as an alternate member. Do I have a motion? Ms. Smith?
Thank you, Mayor. I would like to move the appointments of of Jane Walters, who is a Realtor here in Norwalk, longtime resident, an award-winning Realtor. She is also active in the community on the Oak Hills Women's Golf Association, as well as the Oak Hills Park Authority. And Ms. Formanek is also a Realtor here in Norwalk. She lives in the Silver Mine area and has been involved in lots of activities. And so I'd like to support their appointments and thank them for their willingness to serve.
Any further discussion? Ms. Dunn?
I would just like to comment on Ms. Formanek, having got her resume and her, checking her website. She does list NASH as one of her activities, and she has never been a member and never gotten involved in any activities in the neighborhood as far as we've checked. Thank you.
Further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the two appointments? Opposed? Abstentions? Was that a yes, sir?
Yeah,
Okay, just a little late, that's all. Those are approved. Next, we have reappointments, all to the Board of Estimate and Taxation. Ed Abrams, Artie Kasimis, and Ann Yang. Do I have a motion? Mr. Fraser?
I'd like to move the appointment of all three, Ed Abrams and Artie Kasimis and Ann Yang. Artie Abrams is currently serving as chairman of the BET. This is not an easy position to hold. These meetings tend to meander here and there, and he does a wonderful job on keeping people on track, on point, and getting through the huge amount of data that has to be gone through. He also has held leadership positions in some very significant companies in the area, and has a broad knowledge of business that he can bring to the Board of Estimate and Taxation. Artie Kasimis was one of the first people I met when I joined the Board of Estimate and Taxation 5-6 years ago. He has a wealth of knowledge of the city, as well as having served on numerous commissions and committees, part of the city or part of the broader public involvement. He also has a good knowledge of the workings of the city. And I think he's going to will continue to be an important cog in the wheels of the Board of Estimate and Taxation. Ann Yang is probably one of the most impressive resumes that we've seen, having worked in some major banks and investment firms in New York City. Also, I'd like to point out that the fact that she's a graduate of MIT certainly helps her understand what's going on in the city. All of these people, gentlemen and Ms. Yang, will be very important in helping us to move forward with the business of the BET, and will be very effective in their job. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion or comment? Ms. Smith?
Yes, I just like to make a couple of brief comments. I don't know Ms. Yang personally, but I do thank her for her work and her commitment to service. And throw in my support for Artie Kasimis, who is a committed public servant. He's been around quite a bit on our boards and commissions and Board of Education. And for Ed Abrams, whom I've known for quite some time, back from our days with Marching Bears, Inc. And Ed is a problem solver, a strategic thinker. He's fair. He's really done a great job serving on the BET and now leaving it. And I fully support his reappointment and thank him for his commitment to service.
Further comment or discussion? Mr. Seed?
Thank you. I just wanted to speak. I don't know Mr. Abrams or Zhang, but I know Artie Kasimis. I met him when he was on the Board of Ed, and he always had a heart for the people. I mean, someone that's level-minded and really could come up with solutions. He is a pastor here in Norwalk, and he really has a heart for the people. And I just want to speak to that.
Yep. Further discussion, comment? Ms. Dunn.
I'd also like to comment on Ed Abrams, someone who I respect tremendously. I know him from Columbus Magnet School, being a parent and marching band. As the president of MBI, he did an amazing job with fundraising. Our kids were always prepared, and his wife too. He really did an amazing thing for the schools too. So I wholeheartedly support him.
Thank you. Further discussion, comment? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you to all of them for their willingness to serve the city of Norwalk in these volunteer positions. Next, Mayor's remarks. I just have a couple. First, want to wish a happy Ramadan to all those celebrating and honoring this sacred month in the Muslim community, and we wish them safe and blessed Ramadan. Also, as you know, March, as the young ladies are showing us today, March is a Women's History Month. And last night, in honor of Women's History Month, the Norwalk Commission on the Status of Women celebrated the awardees of their first ever Gender Equity Impact Awards. And I think we're all very proud of that. Thank you. The Impact Awards were designed to recognize two outstanding gender equity advocates in the Norwalk community, whose actions have had a positive impact on women, girls, and other marginalized members of the community, such as transgender people, gender nonconforming people. Following a public nomination process, the commission selected Rodney Youssef, is that how to pronounce it? Yeah, Rodney Youssef, a senior at Brian McMahon High School, as the Youth Rising Star Impact Awardee, and State Representative, our own Dominique Johnson, as the Adult Impact Awardee. So congratulations to them. They each received a proclamation from some mayor of the city of Norwalk, as well as citations issued by the state and issued by the state, thanks to Lieutenant Governor Bysowitz, who also was in attendance, I believe. As a reminder, do you know that starting yesterday, the Connecticut Department of Transportation began a 3-week temporary closure of the East Norwalk train station? And also, more importantly, underneath the bridge that leads to the South Norwalk train station, East Norwalk train station, for a period of 3 weeks to do their repairs. They were taking that time to remain closed that whole time so they can get their work done in a very shortened fashion rather than extended out several months. So this will be a 3-week closure. And last but not least, I want to thank the Norwalk Police Emerald Society for organizing another great St. Patrick's Day parade last weekend. And also to thank all the council people and others who participated. That's all I have, and I will then turn it over to the council president.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So we will go to the appointment of Anne, I can't say this name, Winterstad and Catherine William Murchison. So we'll go start with Ms. Winterstad.
Yes, I'd like to move Ann Winterston and speak on behalf. She is relatively new to the community. She's been here 2 years, but she lived just over the line in New York State. She's a longtime psychotherapist, social worker, and so she's got a really great background for Board of Ethics, understands HIPAA and privacy concerns and the legalities of it. I'm going to steal Councilman Seeds. She just has a lot of heart for people, and that really comes through. Almost immediately after moving here, she reached out. I was part of a women's group and got involved, and has really been involved in women's causes. So very appropriate. She's up today. So I think I can highly recommend her for this position.
Anyone else? Ms. McMorro?
I'd just like to second that. I met Anne while we were campaigning for this term, and she's just a go-getter and really level-headed and wonderful, and really cares about the community and has dove in headfirst to get involved, which I really appreciate. Thank you to her for stepping up.
Anyone else? So all in favor of the appointment of Ms. Winterstead to the Board of Ethics? All right, it's unanimous. So next we have Ms. Catherine Williams Murchison. Ms. Ayers.
Happy to speak to this appointment. Ms. Williams Murchison is in the gallery today with us. Yeah, everybody wait. When we think about persons that we would like to place on the Board of Ethics, we think of people who are grounded, people who can speak up, people who have strong convictions and ethical guide. And these words and many others describe Kathy. I met her when I was a child, and this is a woman, and it's just fitting that it's Women's History Month, that has poured into villages of people and have done it consistently. She is a person who speaks from a place of deep-hearted concern and love and adoration from people. She is a person that can find consensus in a room. And these are all things that we are looking for. And she's a new person to our Board of Ethics. And I'm always celebrating when we are able to bring new citizens to serve in these capacities. And I look forward to her work on this board, and I know that she will continue to demonstrate all of those great qualities that she has done in the community. She is a caregiver, she's a mother, she's a grandmother, she's a wife, but most importantly, she is someone that has a sound mind, body, heart, and spirit, and speaks for people. So I'm happy to raise this name and nominate this name and all the things with this name.
I think you really mean it too.
I do.
It's really, really wonderful. So all in favor? Unanimous? Okay, thank you. So next we're gonna move on to the, oh, there you
You
go.
know,
You're here. Hi.
and Ms. Formanek is here also. We want to thank her.
Yes.
And Ms. Winterstand?
Yes.
Yes. So thank you to
Thank you.
everybody.
So we have the reappointments, the alternate position for on the Board of Ethics. And so Ms. Dunn, would you move this for me forward?
Yes, we have Pat Aguda.
Mhm.
She is being reappointed, and she really felt very strongly about her role, and she said she didn't get to spend a lot of time. There were not a ton of meetings, but she was very excited to participate. She's someone who actually digs in and really likes to get involved in a really positive way. She's really smart. She has a background in HR, so she's learned how to navigate through some sticky situations professionally with some amazing companies. And she just became an independent. She's kind of really interested in getting more involved in the city. And I think she's going to be a great addition to doing the work that we need to do in the city. So I'm very excited to put her forward.
So all in favor of Ms. Argudall? It looks unanimous. All right. So next we're going to move on to Ms. Toronto. Are you going to move that one as well?
I would like to move her forward. I actually have never met her. I don't really know her. However, I've heard good things about her. As she was on the ethics committee previously, several people have said that she's very collaborative and easy to work with, and thought she would be an excellent reappointment. So I would like to move her forward.
Would anybody else like to speak to Ms. Toronto? No? Okay. All in favor? It looks unanimous again. Thank you very much. And I think moving on from that, before we go on to the consent calendar, as the mayor alluded, this is International Women's Month. And the theme is inclusion. And it's about women. And if we look on our appointments, we have appointed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 women. So clearly the city of Norwalk is doing what they need to do to be inclusive and providing that type of equity and diversity that has been at a loss for a while. And I think that we need to commend ourselves on staying on this path. We're not overlooking anybody, but we understand the importance of bringing other voices to the table. And so I think we should just all be proud of that and
Absolutely.
look forward to continuing. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the consent
Consent
calendar,
calendar. Yep.
which will be read by, sorry.
Yes, I'm sorry. 7A, authorize Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute an agreement between the City of Norwalk and Tig and Bond Incorporated for project DPW 2024-1 on-call engineering services. The agreement is for a period of 3 years, billable on an hourly basis for sum not to exceed $125,000 annually, with an option to extend for 2 additional terms of 1 year each. Accounts noted. Two, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement between the city of Norwalk and Weston and Sampson Engineers Incorporated for project DPW 2024-1 on-call engineering services. The agreement is for a period of 3 years, billable on an hourly basis for a sum not to exceed $125,000 annually, with an adoption to extend for 2 additional terms of 1 year each. Accounts noted. Three, authorize Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute an agreement between the city of Norwalk and AI Engineers Incorporated for project DPW 2024-1 on-call engineering services. The agreement is for a period of 3 years, billable on hourly basis for some not to exceed $125,000 annually, with an option to extend for 2 additional terms of 1 year each. Accounts noted. 5A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Burns Construction Company Incorporated for project PM 2024-2 permanent paving repairs and surface restoration for an amount not to exceed $626,607.50. Account noted. 5B, authorize the Chief of Operations of Public Works to execute orders on contract with Burns Construction Company Incorporated for project PM 2024-2 permanent paving repairs and surface restoration for an amount not to exceed $62,660.75. Account noted. 6A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Pro Electric Incorporated for the electric vehicle charging stations for a total not to exceed $149,300. Accounts noted. 6B, authorize the Office of Building Management to issue change orders on the contract for a total not to exceed $14,930. Accounts noted. 8, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all agreements, documents, and instruments and amendments thereto as may be necessary for the city of Norwalk to receive grant funds in the amount of $179,400 from the Connecticut Department of Energy and Environmental Protection, DEEP, and its WEVSE-ZEV Infrastructure Program, ZIP, for purchasing and installation of electric vehicle charging equipment, EVSE. 9A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement between the city of Norwalk. Something.
Go ahead, go ahead. No, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
It was off.
No, go ahead. What? It's off, right.
It's off consent.
So don't read 9A is off consent or
9A is off consent.
Yes, and B.
and B.
yes.
Okay,
Indeed.
okay. B, land use building management. 1A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with Newfield Construction Group LLC as the construction manager for the Norwalk Community Recreation Center at 98 South Main Street. Terms of the agreement shall include pre-construction services, $17,000, CM fixed fees, 1.9%, CM contingency, 1.5%, balance revert to the city at project completion. General conditions fee, $519,785. Actual amount to be determined at the time of guaranteed maximum price GMP. Subsequent to trade contractors bidding, final GMP amendment will be submitted to the Common Council for approval. Funds for the pre-construction phase for this agreement are available from ARPA funds, account noted. 1B, authorize building management to issue change orders on contract. Example, destructive testing for a total not to exceed $10,000, account noted. 2, authorize building management to process relocation payments to residential tenants, residential owners, and businesses at 28, 32, 36, and 38 Oxford Street and 16 Meadow Street Extension relating to the city's acquisition of said properties, subject to Health Department's review and recommendation for a total not to exceed $75,000, accounts noted. 3, authorize building management to reimburse Norwalk Public Schools for the cost and to provide transportation for Norwalk High School student athletes to off-site locations through the spring 2024 semester as a result of the Norwalk High School Development Project for a total not to exceed $15,000, account noted. 4, authorize the purchasing agent to issue a purchase order to Integrity Cleaning to provide annual window washing cleaning services for various city buildings for initial term of 3 years for a total amount of $71,804.66 plus 2 one-year options. effective dates from April 1st, 2024 to June 30th, 2027, and 2 one-year options from July 1st, 2027 to June 30th, 2029. Accounts noted. C1, Economic and Community Development. 1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement with VHB Consultant Engineering to provide consulting engineering services for the design of the traffic signal upgrade and transit signal priority implementation, Phase 5, project number 102-369, for an amount not to exceed $380,461.16. Account noted. 2A, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter any and all agreements related to the municipal brownfield grant program and execute a First Amendment to the Land Disposition and Development Agreement, LDA, together with any and all agreements and documents required thereunder with Sonotod 2 LLC, the developer, for purposes of conveying a portion of 30 Monroe Street. 2B, be it further resolved that the mayor is authorized to execute an assistance agreement, any amendments thereto, and such other documents as may be required to take such other actions as may be necessary or required to receive the grant and to act as the authorized representative of the city of Norwalk for all purposes in connection therewith.
I think we have, two should be on. Did we read it in?
No.
So you've heard the consent calendar. Do we have any questions or concerns? Yep. So all in favor is the consent calendar as it was read? Thank you. Unanimous. Okay.
Okay. That brings us back to the agenda. I believe Mr. Freyer on items 7A, 4A, and 4B.
Yes, 4A is authorized Mayor Harry W. Rilling to execute an agreement between the city of Norwalk and Colonia Concrete and Asphalt Paving LLC for project RD 2024-1, curbs, sidewalks for Berkeley Street for a sum not to exceed $1,888,185. Account so noted. I'd like to move this and say that this is.
Did you want to move 4B at the same time?
Yeah, let's do that too. I'm sorry. Authorize Chief of Operations and Public Works to execute orders on the contract between the city of Norwalk and Colonia Concrete and Asphalt Paving LLC for project RD 2024-1, curbs and sidewalks for the Berkeley Street area for a sum not to exceed $188,818.50. Accounts so noted. I'll just introduce this. I'd like to move this and I'd like to say a couple of words that this is primarily curbs and sidewalks, grading and drainage associated with a project that's going to link up from Maple Avenue, West Avenue, Arch Street, Lynn Street with all a big, long, safe corridor. And I believe that we should have somebody from Public Works that would give us a little bit more details on this. I don't see.
Yes,
Yes.
James.
Jim.
Oh, okay, Jim, I'm sorry.
Sorry, yes. So basically, as you know, we have our annual paving operations. We pave our roads every year, and as construction protocol, we always build our sidewalks ahead of time. Sidewalks and curbs. We're planning to pave Berkeley Street in the coming construction phase. So right now we wanted to replace all the curbs and sidewalks as needed. The existing sidewalks, that's where the DPW handles existing sidewalks and everything that handles with that. So as Jim has noted, as part of that, when you move curbs, you often have to move drainage and anything else associated with making that work. So we are doing all this in preparation for finally paving Berkeley Street and all the adjoining areas as well.
Thank you, Mr. Meehan.
Any questions or discussion? Ms. Sayers.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just because I'm in District A, I would just like to thank DPW for taking the time to prioritize this paving in the sidewalks. Berkeley Street is a very quaint, quiet street. we had to Google it real quick, 'cause I couldn't pinpoint where Berkeley Street was, but now I know where Berkeley Street is. Years ago, we used to cut through Berkeley Street to go to the YMCA. That was our cut, so we didn't have to go down to Main Street and get in trouble by our parents. So, but it's a residential area. There's a lot of it's a mix, actually, it's really mixed. It's residential, and then there's a lot of therapists on that street and little small businesses. And I don't think it gets a lot of traffic, but it's a street that if you don't know where you're going, you kind of go by it. So I'm just happy that it's getting some curb appeal or some needed improvements, and because it's in my district, I felt compelled to speak on it. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Seaton.
Yeah, it's a street I frequent a lot. My barbershop is not too far. You know, me and the mayor kind of go to the same place. And we park sometime near when it's hard to find parking. There is a lot of kids on this street. It's something that is really gonna improve the livelihood of a lot of our residents. So thank you, DPW and the Public Works.
Further discussion. Ms. Najilski.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to highlight something that I think was inherent in what Mr. Meehan said, but I think is a continual point of pride for DPW that I really love to highlight, which is how efficient and strategic they have gotten. So we sometimes get questions from folks because they see work 1 year and then they're like, well, aren't you going to finish the roads? And I think it's really valuable to highlight the strategy here, which is they go through, they fix all the drainage, they get the utilities taken care of, they make sure that everything is in good shape and that they have time to settle, so that then when they pave it the next year, we don't get the cracking and the potholes and the coming to have to go back to patch because they forgot to do utilities. So I just really want to commend DPW for the thoughtfulness of this process. And this is just one example of many through the cycle that they've now really managed so smoothly over the last several years, that we're really now on this great rhythm. And it is really lovely to see this kind of sort of poster child for efficient government. So just a compliment there to add to District A's enthusiasm.
I appreciate that. We are currently working on a number of roads in preparation for a lot of paving that we're going to be doing, as well as the ones we've done last year, sidewalks. So
Further discussion. I grew up on Berkeley Street, and I don't think the roads and sidewalks have been paved since then. I think I moved to Delaware Avenue when I was 8 years old, so. But it is a quaint little street. It's also part of Berkeley Street. Just as a little bit of history, is named Pastor Sadie Miles Way for the church at 2 Berkeley Street. She is the pastor and worked very hard to pay off 2 mortgages on 2 churches. So we named that designated honoree for her there. So all in favor of, and I used to cut through to go to Jefferson School. All in favor? Opposed? Abstention? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Mr. Freyer. 7A and 7B, I believe.
Correct. 7A, authorize Mayor Harry W. Ruling to execute an extension for a 1-year agreement with AVD Excavators LLC Project TMP 2022-4 Concrete Services, ADA ROW improvements at various locations and an amount not to exceed $500,000. And 7B, authorize the Director of Transportation, Mobility and Parking to execute an extension for 1 year orders on contract with AVD Excavators LLC for project TMP 2022-4 Concrete Services ADA row improvements at various locations for the amount not to exceed $50,000, accounts noted. I'd like to move this item and say just that this is a project upgrade for existing infrastructure and to try to find all those areas that need or require ADA upgrades to meet the standards. And I believe we have somebody from TMP. I think Fred, are you going to talk on this?
Actually, Mr.
okay.
Freyer, we have Troy Deering and Greg Pacelli here for that.
Okay, I didn't see them. Okay. Go
Thank
ahead.
you, Mayor. Thank you, Council. Thank you, Vanessa, for the introduction. I'll just give I'm Troy Deering from Construction Project Manager for TMP, and I'll just give a quick rundown of some of the projects that we did last year under this contract with AVD excavators. One of the most notable would be raised crosswalk on Union Park South, which is part of the NRVT, which not only allows for better pedestrian safety being elevated above the road, but also makes a smoother transition for cyclists. We also did some ADA handicap ramp and crosswalks on North Water Street, leaving the South Norwalk Garage and going directly across into the Maritime Aquarium entryway, bringing them right to the front. Right down the street, we also did the entryway into Oyster Shell Park, making a crosswalk and new handicap ramp there, and closing a tree, making sure the tree could stay, as well as putting the handicap in. And I think they're also going to install new pedestrian light, making a crossing there for everyone safer as well. We have a lot more planned for next year, closing gaps, making things safer, and I'll pass it off to Greg Pichelli for those, and thank you again for your time.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Troy. Yeah, so just to speak on the contract, the base of this contract was basically stemmed off of the sidewalk inventory that was performed a few years back, where we found gaps in the sidewalk, missing ADA ramps, so that we could also be more responsive to customer service requests that come in for these type of smaller concrete related and asphalt related projects. And before DPW, obviously they can only pave so many roads every year. So that, we coordinate with them on these projects so that we have the ability, if they're not going to get paid for, 5-10 years or so, we have the ability to go in, do some of these smaller upgrades as an interim to make an impact on the community. So that's kind of the base of this contract. So as Troy said, we did a number of projects last year, and we're also planning a number of projects this year, for enhanced sidewalks and ramps and intersection realignments as well in various neighborhoods throughout the city. So we look forward to doing that again this year with this contract.
Any further comments or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries. Thank you. Now, Mr. Freire, 9A and 9B.
9A is authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute an agreement between the city of Norwalk and Colonia Concrete and Asphalt Paving for project DRG 2024-1 Lockwood and Heather Lane drainage improvements for a sum not to exceed $3,332,150, which consists of the following breakdown: $3,055,200 base bid, $148,000 sewer separation, and $128,950 alternate number one. Authorize and counts noted. 9B was authorize the Chief of Operations and Public Works to execute orders on the contract between the City of Norwalk and Colonia Concrete and Asphalt Paving LLC for project DRG 2024-1 Lockwood and Heather Lane drainage improvements for a sum not to exceed $333,215. Accounts so noted. I'd like to move these items. I just want to mention that this will affect nearly 158 houses in the city and fixing up drainage and all around improvements to the roadways. So that's quite a few houses that we're going to be touching with this. And Ms. Valadares, do you want to talk about this, or will Mr. Meehan talk?
I would love to talk about this. Thank you so much. Good evening, everybody. So what we have in front of you is really another area that we're going to be able to remediate a lot of drainage flooding that they have been having for many, many years, as well do some disconnection of some combined storm and sewer projects, what also will really improve the water quality overall. But I think that the biggest news about this project that we are all proud of is that we ended up getting 100% funded under DECG-CIF. So I believe that some of you were with us when we did a press release in the fall about it, and then we ended up really getting the 100% of the fund for this project through the state. So we are very excited. We are hoping to break ground probably in 4 or 6 weeks, and we're gonna invite everybody to groundbreaking for that as well. Again, as Mr. Freyer said, the good thing about this project is that we're really gonna be able to alleviate flooding in many of those properties that is in the area. As you are aware, this area have a lot of residents, and a lot of them really ended up having a lot of drainage issues that we're definitely gonna alleviate.
Further discussion, comments, Ms. Smith?
Yeah, I would just like to say how pleased I am to see this project moving forward with grant funds especially. This has been just such a long-term problem for these residents, and to be able to alleviate it for this many homes is really terrific. And you know, even better that it's grant funded. And I just have to take a moment to ditto the comments of Ms. Najelski-Eichner before, and really compliment you, Vanessa, on your leadership, as well as your whole team. But you're the leader and you're doing a great job.
Yes, she does. Ms. Murray?
I'd like to, this is in District C, so I'm really excited for the residents of our district to have this relief and to start this project. I also want to alleviate any nerves. I know when we say we're gonna come in and start working on 158 homes, that those residents might be nervous, but we just have been working very closely with Vanessa and her team on the Dreaming Hollow project. And we have received rave compliments from the neighbors on how responsive the team was, found creative solutions to, you know, any of the neighbors' nervousness about different situations. So I feel so much confidence going into this project that this is just going to be wonderful for the neighborhood. And I want to thank the team again for all the extra work and all the outreach to our community to get the neighbors together. So.
Further discussion. I'd like to thank Senator Duff and the team from our state legislators for working so hard, and also for Governor Lamont, who worked very closely with Bob Duff on this. So thank you to Senator Duff. All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
No, I don't know what to do. No, we don't have Lisa or Diana here.
I know.
I'm on
TV. I'm here. I got
Oh,
my
you're
hand
here.
up
There you are. And what would you like to say, Lisa?
I'd like to have a motion to adjourn on the table.
Motion to adjourn at 8:14. All in favor?
Okay, but before you turn it off,
Yep.
Dewan is
Oh,
on.
yes.
is Dewan here too? Is he
Yeah,
on there?
Dewan's on.
Dewan's on there
What time
too?
he arrived.
So we're just gonna.
Oh, okay. Dewan's there. Yep.
So we're just gonna say before we leave, I know it's early, your birthday is in a couple of days. So we're just gonna say,
We can go offline, James.
yeah, can go off.
Sit up for the people to see you in the back.
He's not gonna watch our flag. Adjourn.
Yes, we are.
Adjourn.